So we've joined Chef Gareth Mullins over here in the kitchen, and we've given you a commis chef.
Look at this.
Come out with him, he's a sous chef now. Sous chef, yeah.
Within half an hour.
Exactly. Well,
you work hard, Martin.
Put the craft in.
He picked that mint like I've never seen anybody think mint before. So, sous chef material.
So it's sea trout.
Okay, so a lot of people steer away from cooking fresh fish, but there's a couple of little things that are really important when you are. When you buy it from the fishmongers, they normally give it to you in a bag. When you bring it home, take it out of the bag, onto some kitchen towel, onto a plate or a Tupperware, and leave it in the fridge. What we're trying to do is get rid of any of the moisture, because it's the moisture that normally makes it stick to the pan. Okay, that's one little trick. The next trick is, when you come in from work, take the fish out of the fridge and let the fish come to room temperature. That's the same if you're cooking meat, fish, any proteins, because when you put something really cold into a pan, the heat takes longer to make its way through the piece of protein. So what I just want you to do is take the skin, and we're just going to take a nice sharp knife, and we're going to do some little incisions. What that's going to do, it's going to help the heat travel up through the fish, but it's also going to let us get some seasoning in there. So all I've done is just I've scored the skin, and then I'm just going to a little bit of sea salt, both sides. And then, as you can see, that pan is starting to smoke a little bit. You don't want it really hot. And then when it goes in, leave it alone. Because what I want to happen now is that skin to start to caramelise. Another common mistake people make is they shake the pan, they move it around, and that drops the temperature in the pan, and sometimes it will stick on you. Okay, so what we're going to serve with it is a little broth. James is going to chop me some mint, very professionally, I'd say, after his promotion. So I have a little pan.
James is no stranger to our
No,
kitchen.
he's not.
I mean, you've cooked for us before.
I have, yeah.
Yourself and William came in.
Yeah. I think I can manage the mint. He'll demote me now after my big promotion.
So I just have a little pan on, and I've got some shallots that I finely chopped. They go into the pan, and the other ingredients that I'm going to add in now is some asparagus. So I've two types of asparagus there. I think you can see that. So there's white asparagus around at the moment, and green asparagus. If you can get white asparagus, get it. It's delicious.
Does it taste the same? Sorry, is that a stupid question?
It's kind of a little bit, it's not, you know that taste asparagus have, it's a little bit less asparagus.
Okay.
That's a technical term, I'm
Interesting,
sure.
yeah, very technical.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I love asparagus.
That was a great question, because I didn't know either.
There you go.
Yeah. So the ends of the asparagus I've just chopped, they're going in with the shallots now, and I should have said that. The asparagus, I've just dropped it into boiling salted water for 2 minutes, and then I put it into iced water.
Okay.
You've
to
heard
stop it
this,
cooking and it doesn't go
exactly.
soggy.
So it's called blanching and then refreshing, right? I'm sure you hear the chefs go on about this all the time. And what it does, it just keeps it nice and green. So how's the mint doing? Oh, look at that.
Is that okay?
Sorry, look at that.
He knows what he's doing.
Brought that in a bag. Here's some I chopped earlier. William did it at home.
Now I'm going to add in a few peas. So these are just frozen peas. If you can get fresh ones, it's a little bit early. Add them in. So as you can see, you've got lovely colours of spring. The fish is starting to cook now. Can you get an overhead shot?
Oh, you can see it creeping up, on the side.
See the way it's changing colour? So that's telling me to turn it over. Okay, so all I want to do, run a fish slice under it, gently fold it over, and that's what we're looking for. You see the way it's nice and golden brown, and it's caramelised and it hasn't stuck. So you've seen I wasn't messing around with it. I want that caramelisation to happen, and because I put those slits in it, it's beautifully seasoned. I just need a little bit of lemon, James.
Yeah.
So next, what goes into my broth? Thank you. I told Martin just before we come on that this stove gives me nightmares.
Yeah, and I always think, don't give it energy. Don't give it, don't.
Yeah, reverse psychology.
And now look what's happened.
Perfect. So what we do is now, I've just added in a little bit of chicken stock, and then I'm going to add in, these are just some new potatoes that I diced in my OCD fashion. You don't have to cut them in squares like that.
They're very chefy.
Yeah, they are a little bit. I can't help myself, Martin. So the potatoes go in now. So this is an all-in-one dish, and then the blanched asparagus goes in.
Now, have you pre-cooked the potatoes or just cooked?
They're pre-cooked.
Oh, there.
So what I wanted to try and show people was, if you were, it's Mother's Day on Sunday, so say you were having your mum over for dinner, or you were having some family over, we're going to finish that with a little bit of lemon and take it off the heat. That's cooked now. Right. So I would have seared the fish, and then I would have put it onto a tray, and then that would have went into the fridge, and then a half an hour before I was going to serve, I take it out of the fridge, I preheat my oven to 180 degrees. My guests will have set down, and then I'll pop the fish into the oven, and then I'll make the broth. And then all with the broth, all we're going to do, when this comes back up to the boil, I'm going to add a little bit of butter in here, and the mint. You can throw the mint in from me now, Jen.
Oh, moment of truth.
See, there it is.
Hey.
Well, listen, the mint lifts the whole
He was
thing.
meant to look. Oh,
Ooh, got very chefy as well.
Oh, here, Roger, I'm
some of the counter as well. Delicious.
So what we'll do is we'll bring this to the boil now, and then all we're going to do is finish this with a little bit more lemon juice. And look how spring-like it looks. Just give us another little bit of lemon there. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Gar mentioned room temperature. You're a big believer in that as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I never really knew why, but I guess it's maybe because food is maybe overdone if it comes at you volcanically hot. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like when I grew up, it was a big. I always seems like I'm shading my mum a lot here. Like, she's a great cook now, but there was a lot of overboiling of vegetables and stuff when I was. I hated sprouts, for example, growing up because they were just these sad little plods on the plate. But you know, I like them with a bit of crunch now.
Okay.
Yeah.
The people had this thing, if you're boiling a veg, it had to be in there for 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, it has to die
I think
like
that
in the pot.
overcooking of food from years ago came to when there was no fridges around. And people were really worried about getting sick. So, like, it's very well documented on the fact that if chicken, for example, you have to cook it past 75 degrees. And I've often heard people tell stories about, you know, their mother washing the chicken in the sink and all of this mad stuff and cooking the chicken for 3.5 hours on a Sunday, getting up at 10:30 to cook a chicken. And you're like a kilo chicken takes, I don't know, 50 minutes, an hour to cook if you let it come to room temperature and baste it. But I do think that style of cooking, and the other thing, if you go back a few years ago, the quality of the meat wasn't as good. So there was a lot of braising and a lot of slow cooking going on, which is really long cooked, you know, and the quality of the vegetables wouldn't have been as good. Now, thankfully, we have wonderful vegetables that are in pristine condition and fish that's like caught and then eaten the day or the day after that. So I think that's my own view. That's where I think it comes from.
Okay.
Another reason to be thankful for fridges.
It's very highbrow, like academic answer there.
James is like, I just like it. I just like it like that.
Broth is ready.
So when you taste something, it's really important to think about what just happened.
Okay.
So I've tasted it. I know from experience that it needs a little bit more seasoning, salt, and it needs a little bit more lemon.
Okay.
And then, like, to teach yourself how to season something, go back to it and taste it again, and remember what happened to the broth after you taste it again, because that's how you learn how to season something. As you know from being in Ballymaloe when you were down there learning all about seasoning.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, we did ask you because Nan was talking about wanting to be Bat Nan.
Yeah.
And we got some comments in as well.
The viewers came through. Yeah, Jessie got in touch via Facebook. I think Batman's nemesis should be Alan Carr as Dragman.
Okay.
Very good. Yeah, I like that.
Hilda, now this is, Hilda thinks that Batman's nemesis should be the bingoer.
I'm annoyed I didn't think of that. That's so good.
Yeah, it would work all right.
Sinead texted in, Nan's nemesis could be, and you actually said this.
I was about to say this myself.
And I cut you off.
Rather than the Riddler, it could be the Piddler. The Piddler. It could work. And lots of people are so disappointed to hear that you're leaving Dublin, James.
Oh, well, I'll be back.
He'll be back.
I'll be back.
This looks amazing.
So good, so good. We are out of time for tonight. A huge thanks to our guests and, of course, Gareth and James for the delicious food which we're going to eat. Can't wait.
It's all about the mint.
All about the mint.
All about the mint. Tomorrow night, Una Healy and Kamal will be here catching up with Imelda May. Should be fun. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.